I come from a studio called Studio Distract. We're a 3D animation and visual effects company. We deal with high-end video production. Our biggest problem in the past has been getting our files to the client. It's been getting the files to the client, but when they make that tiny change, is getting it to them again. And then when they make the tiny change again, getting to them again. We've had to send files 8 times in one day in the past, and when you're looking at send it in 2 hours, it's just not possible. One time of the day, you can download and upload files really fast. Another time, the internet, you can't even watch a YouTube video, and you don't know when that is. You don't know when that's going to happen. And if you've got a file to get to a client at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday, you're hoping that that's a good time. You're hoping that the transfer rates are good at that time of the day, but you never really know. Yeah. If I can go somewhere in 10, 20 minutes and send a file and then get back to the studio, then that's important. Because the closest things we've got at the moment is our internet service provider, and that, let's say, to send a decent sized file might take 2 hours. With Media Access Bureau, we can send it in 10 seconds. We're used to working with government clients across the UK, and we've just started working internationally now, at first with Ireland, and we need to be able to send files to London, but also to Dublin. When working with people like Disney, the BBC, Cartoon Network, and that level of client, we have to make sure that we can operate at their level, and not where we're used to with government clients. In order for us to move forward, we've got to step up our game in so many different levels in our interaction with them, mainly because it seems to be the communication with them that's key. That they want to, let's say the BBC or Disney's commissioners to do a project, they don't go, here's your project, go and do it, when it's finished come back. They want to be part of the process. They want to see it from day to day. They want to see our changes, our adaptations, and our interpretation of that brief. I just see that this system not being something that we're demanding, but something that our clients will demand. It's something that they'll want us to be on a level with them, and we can't do that with our standard internet service provider. Like the BBC, for example, if they said it was a prerequisite, if they said you've got to have the ability to send files at this speed, then we would make sure that we could go, tick, we can do that. As long as we can get the file into the system and send it to the client, that's all I care about. Otherwise, I don't know, sending it in the post, which it's not ideal, and even actually in the post, you're never sure that it's actually going to get there anyway. So the most important thing to our business, I'm sure it's the same with most, is it's not the cost of using equipment and things like that, it's cost of time. It's cost of how many people do we have to use to get a job done, and how long does it take? It's as simple as that. So if we're using 2 people and it takes 2 hours and it costs this much money, but with this place it's like 1 person, less than an hour, and that's cheap to pay a nominal fee to send a file in 10 seconds. You can't compare to that. We never know when a client's going to need a file, straight away, and we can't necessarily prepare for that. As long as no one's booked in, we can come down here, send a file, then go back to the studio. For our studio to progress, we need to make certain advancements that we maybe can't afford. Certain updates with our hardware to compete with the competitors, and for us to get a system like this into our studio, which would be fantastic, it's going to cost us in the region of £50,000. It's, unless we get £1 million deal, that's not viable. And it's the chicken and egg situation, that to get that £1 million deal, we need to be at a certain status, and NorthernNet enables us to be at that status straight away with our data transfer, with our communication with clients. It elevates us straight away, and the cost is it's pennies. It's not even worth thinking about compared to the £50,000 that it would cost us to facilitate our studio in that way. For me, owning and running my business and deciding where to spend our money, it's like a trial before you buy. We don't have to go out and spend £50,000, £60,000 on equipment. We can come here and spend like £60, £100 on just using it for an hour. And it might be that we only need to use it once per month. And why would you spend a lot of money on something that you only use once per month. It makes so much more sense to share it with other media agencies.